Other than card making, one of my favorite things to do is to read books. So that's why I was super excited that this month's Spellbinders kits are all focused on books and stories. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel, and in today's video I'll be featuring a bunch of the Spellbinders Kit Clubs from this month that really all focus on books and stories. I have the Glimmer Kit of the month, the Stamp and Die of the month, the Wax Seal of the month, and much more. So let's just jump into the card making and I'll share which kit club these supplies come from as we go along. First, let's take a look at the embossing folder of the month. It's such a great pattern, and I embossed a piece of Cosmic Sky cardstock from Spellbinders. Now, I was never a huge believer in misting the cardstock, but since I got the Spellbinders Mighty Mister, I've started to do that, and I did want to show you, even though I thought I wasn't having issues with cracking, if you look really closely at this, you can tell that the cardstock is indeed cracking, and that the cardstock that I misted is nice and smooth. So I am a full believer now, and I will be using the Mighty Mister all over the place. This is the clear stamps and dies set. It's got some cute gnomes, some book images, and a couple of sentiments that you can all die cut out. So I have a gnome on a set of stack of books, and then the sentiment says, "Make this birthday one for the books." So next up, we're going to take a look at the Better Press plates, and I'm going through this a little more quickly than I normally do. That's because I'm not showing you where I actually run it through the Better Press. If you want to see more like that, I'll put my original videos where I share about the Better Press, the Glimmer machine, and all the other things down in the YouTube description box under the video. Here I'm using a few of the new Better Press inks. Those were not sent to me. I purchased them because I absolutely love these colors. So you can see that I have a light green, a light aqua. I've used Thunder, which is a nice gray from one of the sentiments. After cutting down that Better Press plate, which is the look of a library book plate or a fancy book plate, it also has a die to cut out the sentiment. So I popped that up, and it also has that oval die as well, perfect for fitting the sentiment. Next up is the 3D embossing folder. Now, this one you definitely want to use that Mighty Mister with it, because the 3D embossing folder, you'll get an even deeper impression if you missed that cardstock first. So both of these I actually misted because I just wanted to see which color I was going to end up using for my card. So I cut that embossed piece down to 4 by 5 1/4. I have another of these gnomes. Again, I stamped and colored them in, but I did really basic coloring, so I just didn't want to bore you with that. And I'll just pop up that oval that I used the die from the Better Press plate again. They're great little ovals. They're the perfect size for fitting an image or a sentiment. And then I've popped up the sentiment, which I really love when they give you the dies to cut out the sentiments so that you can pop it up on top. Next up is the Glimmer Kit. This is cobalt blue foil. You will probably get that, but you might get another color. And you can see that that plate, you can do it edge to edge if you run it through twice. The sentiments in the kit are on one plate, and you run it through diagonally on an A2 piece of cardstock if that's what you're using, because it's a little too long for the 5 1/2. So you can also cut out those sentiments all with one die. I love those types of foil plates. They run all together, and then they cut out all together. Here's that original embossing folder that I shared with you. I also used it on white cardstock. I did use the Mighty Mister here because of the quality of the cardstock. I needed to adhere it down to an A2 piece of plain cardstock to keep the warping from happening, but that's all you need to do. I didn't want to put it under a book because then it might flatten out the embossed elements. Okay, so next up we have the wax seal of the month. There are a few vines and then it says, "Congrats on your new chapter." I did my best at outlining. I didn't do a very good job this time, but I still love that the wax seal is square. This one I did trim down. Usually I keep the circle of wax that goes around the edge, but this time I did use some scissors to trim it down so it would be a square. And then I'll place it on some thread that I've knotted in the center of the 3D embossed cardstock there. And I'll use one of the glimmer sentiments that says "Magical Wishes for You" on top of that. Really easy, quick and easy card. This is the stitching die of the month. So you're going to make a couple of stitched books. This one is long stitches. This one is small flowers. And then there's also a teacup that you can do a little bit of stitching. You can see that there's not that much stitching for everything. So it really won't take you very long to stitch all of it. There are also some dies to create flowers. You can see this is a layerable die set where you can put the two different colors on top of each other. There's some vines and leaves as well. There's a larger flower and some flower centers. And you can create just a couple of different colors and use these to tuck inside that teacup once we have it all stitched up. The little green stems for the flowers cut out a tiny piece at the top that is perfect for putting your adhesive on top of. Just makes it really easy to put a little liquid adhesive on that and then pop the flower on top. I also used the My Sweet Petunia Precision Glue Press to add teeny tiny little dots of glue to these small flowers so I can use an embellishment tool and pick up the flower centers, also very tiny, and place those right on top. Now for the stitching. This one is very unique. So you'll start from the back in one of the holes on one of the sides. And then you'll see at the very bottom of this book, there are little divots. First, I like to, for this one, just tape down that back so that I'm not struggling with it. And when you wrap it around the divots, it creates the pages of the book. There's also a die to cut out this cover that I'm adhering right now. Again, good to have a precision glue tip to adhere a little bit of liquid glue on that cover of the book, and it's really starting to come together. There's also, for the binding, there's the outside of the binding where it's part of the cover, and there's also that inside of the binding that's where all the pages are kind of adhered together so that you cover up the little holes from the stitching. And how cute is that? I absolutely adore that. This is kind of a fancy book cover. And like I mentioned, there are a couple of circles. You can kind of create those looking like flowers when you stitch. You just go from the back, one of the edges, and go into the center, and you're going to constantly go back to that center piece and then just do a straight stitch down to the next flower. Really, really simple. Didn't take me long at all. For the teacup, a larger circle with the same exact type of stitches. So these stitches are so big, it really only took me a couple minutes. There's a couple of other little stitches holes there, but I'm not convinced they're for stitching. I think they're just for decoration. So I didn't stitch those. Now I will adhere that down to a piece of gold mirror cardstock that I cut just the teacup out of. And then I'm going to work a little bit more on my flowers. I had cut out some flower centers out of gold mirror cardstock, and then I had cut them out the base of the center out of different colors of pink cardstock so that you could see the pink through the gold. Now I'll take some foam adhesive from Spellbinders and layer my books. There's also a little flag or a little bookmark that you can place on the strings of that book, and I'll pop up the teacup by just placing foam adhesive at the bottom of the cup, because now I'm going to fill it with the leaves and flowers and all those goodies, and it just makes it easier to tuck those underneath the cup if you don't have foam adhesive sitting at the top. So to make this cluster of flowers, I'll use mostly liquid adhesive on the stems and tuck those behind the teacup, and then a few of the small flowers I'm adhering on top of the stems just to fill in some spots. The larger flowers I did use a little bit of adhesive, the pop-up adhesive behind it, but not too high. I didn't want those to be really coming in from the back as much. I like those flowers that are front and center. And again, just a few of those little ones on the front. And I thought one little flower on the front of the teacup in the middle of that circle would look perfect. I used one of the glimmer sentiments that says coffee, books, and you, and then a glimmer background as well from the kit. This is one of the stencils of the month. So the stencil of the month actually comes with two stencil sets that are two stencils each, and I'm showing you one of those here. And then there's also a single stencil. So there's several options that are included this time that you can really choose from. I also cut out some of those fancy books from the stitching club, and I'm not going to stitch these. I'm just going to adhere them down on coordinating cardstock so that they kind of go with the colors that I've used in the background of the stencil. And I'll pop those up on just a few bits of foam adhesive and place those on that stenciled background right on top. And then I have one of the glimmer sentiments. It says, "Enjoy your new chapter." That is made with the cobalt blue foil and right on top of the books. As a huge lover of books, I felt like these kit clubs were made just for me, but I want to hear what you think about them. Let me know in the comments below. If you're not subscribed to something that you see here, be sure to check it out right away because sometimes these clubs do sell out. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. There's that feature books, stories, and it was just books and stories.